He shook his 8-month-old daughter so violently it caused the blood vessels in her eyes to burst. Iowa, the 13th of July 2018. It was a Friday afternoon that began with the mundane rhythm of a young family's life. Raija Straight was 8 months old, a child just beginning to navigate the world through wide eyes and tentative reaches. When her mother left their home on 10th Street to run errands, Raija was, by all accounts, healthy, vibrant and normal. She was left in the care of her father, 17-year-old Raija Straight. But within a narrow window of just a few hours, that domestic quiet was shattered by a level of violence that seasoned investigators would later struggle to describe. By the time Raija was rushed to Mercy Medical Centre, she was no longer the healthy infant her mother had kissed goodbye. Medical staff were met with a catalogue of trauma that suggested a sustained, deliberate assault. The clinical reports read like a ledger of horror. Raija had suffered multiple skull fractures, the bone splintered by force that doctors testified could never be generated by an accidental fall or the clumsy movements of a child. Inside her tiny torso, the damage was just as severe, a ruptured spleen and several broken ribs. And perhaps most chilling was the discovery of a massive retinal hemorrhage, a hallmark of violent shaking or blunt force impact so intense it caused the blood vessels within her eyes to burst. The physicians at Mercy were clear. These were not the results of a tragic mishap or a momentary lapse in safety. This was a deliberate focus attack. Raija clung to life for 24 hours, but the structural damage to her brain and internal organs was insurmountable. She was pronounced dead on the Saturday. While his daughter was dying in a hospital bed, Raija Straight was nowhere to be found. It wasn't until early Sunday morning that he surfaced, walking into the police station to turn himself in. He was initially charged with first-degree murder and child endangerment resulting in death. During sentencing, the air in the courtroom was heavy. There were no excuses offered that could bridge the gap between a father's duty and the broken ribs of an 8-month-old. The judge sentenced Raija Straight to 100 years in prison, the maximum allowed under the plea deal. Under the law, he must serve a significant portion of that century before even the possibility of parole is whispered. Today, Raija Straight remains behind bars, a young man who will likely grow old in a cell. Behind him, he left a family shattered and a community haunted by the image of a child whose life was extinguished by the very hands meant to protect her.